Urban Form and Transport Development Committee, Tuesday the 20th of August. Welcome members, but we will now just adjourn and return after the open forum for the Policy Committee. I hand it over to the Chair of
we will hear now, and then from Mr. Lisette, and then we will adjourn and reopen the UFTD Committee. Mr. Lisette, this is your time, over to you. There may be some questions after you've finished your presentation, but the next 10 minutes is yours to use as you see fit. Thank you.
Thank you. You have a petition that I've had 21 residents from Dennyholm Drive sign regarding the very large Pōhutukawa trees that are in Dennyholm Drive. As you can see on the first photograph, these are two trees that are actually in Granada Street. Yeah. Is that better? Now these two trees are blocking the sunlight from the residents at number 1 Dennyholm Drive. Also the roots from the tree are interfering with their deck area. The next photograph is the big Pōhutukawa tree in their front lawn. Their grandchildren can't run on the lawn because of the prickles that are coming from the trees. They're very, very fine needles, are about 10 millimetres long, and they're very, very sharp at both ends, and they enter the skin quite painfully, and I've experienced that myself numerous times. Across the road at number 2 Dennyholm Drive, this is a tree that's actually in Granada Street that's blocking I can't spell. There's 2 C's in blocking. They're blocking the sunlight from the house. And there's the tree roots in the tree outside their residence and actually in Dennyholm Drive. And number 5 Dennyholm Drive, there's retired people in their late 80s. This tree is actually blocking their vision when they're backing out of the driveway. Plus, the roots are very, very pronounced, and the wall of their fence is starting to crack, caused by the roots. Number 7 Dennyholm Drive is another large Pōhutukawa tree that's blocking the view of the road and footpath. There's another elderly resident there. She's well into her 80s. Number 39 Dennyholm Drive, once again another large tree and blocking the vision of from the driveway. And there's the roots. Now this is my residence, and once again a huge tree, and that's blocking our vision as we come out of our driveway, backing out of our driveway. We've lived in the house since October last year, and I've had to clean out the gutters in the house twice. The second time was in April, and I got a third of a bucket of needles out, which are the Pōhutukawa seeds. So the trees are creating quite a havoc. Now this is the tree roots, and we've had them pruned once, and they're going straight into our garden. The house next door, number 51, you can see how dangerously close that tree is to the driveway. And the residents of this house are well into their 70s, getting near to 80. And their vision is impaired quite dramatically by the tree and the tree trunk. And that's what they see as they're backing out of their driveway. Number 71, the resident isn't at home at the moment. I haven't been able to contact her, but you can see how big the tree is and how very, very close it is to the driveway. Number 75, once again, and you can see the roots at the base of the tree. There they are. And number 60, that tree is very close to the driveway, and there's the intersection right there into Gloucester Road or Gloucester Street. My main concern is that when I was a police officer in Rotorua, I had to attend an accident where a young boy had been knocked off his push bike on the footpath and killed. I don't want that to happen in Denny Home Drive, and I don't want to have to deal with anything like that again. The trees were obviously planted by the developer of the subdivision probably 25 years ago or something like that. Now the occupants of 1, 2, 5, 7, 39, 47, 51 and 75 asked that these trees be removed, and we have no objections whatsoever to having other native trees planted in a position that won't block view from the driveways or create any mess in our sections in the future. That's it in a nutshell. Everything else is contained in the letter and the petition. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lisette. I have a question from Councillor Stewart.
No, it's not a question, Mr. Chair. I walked in just after the meeting has started at 1, but I've got a conflict of interest with this item, so just note that.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Curak, then Councillor Baldock.
Thank you, Brian. So your main concern is that, you pointed out, that you attended a situation where a boy was killed. So your concern is the visibility for by people backing out of pedestrians.
That's correct. Yeah, and pedestrians and skateboarders, and of course now the traffic along Denny Home Drive is getting quite quick.
Just go ahead with my question, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Brian, are any of the residents that you just listed prepared to make any contribution to the cost of removal and replanting? Because it's often a necessary sort of addition to the request, really, in this situation. Saying one way or the other whether it's right or wrong, but I'm just asking if there is any offer from the residents.
That's something that I really didn't consider, and it was not even discussed. I'm sorry.
Could I ask a question of probably Gareth, probably? Kahutakawas are no longer on our list of recommended trees for street trees, are they? I think we've refined that list down now to what are appropriate. Are Kahutakawas still listed as appropriate? Could someone answer? Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there.
Through the chair, Kahutakawas are still being planted by developers.
We see the results of that, don't we, in this picture?
Any further questions? Councillor Malloy.
Brian, thank you for coming in and presenting. You know, using that photograph there or some of the others you've got, could you suggest where trees could be planted that wouldn't be a problem?
Well, looking at this one here, number 60, with the intersection being so close to where the tree is, I don't think it would be advisable to put a tree there at all. And other residents, if they were planted in the centre of the section, and the trees didn't get too big in the girth of their and too high, I don't think there should be any problem at all. I understand there's different varieties of Pohutakawa trees. Some don't go as large as these. I might be wrong.
No further questions, colleagues? Okay, thank you, Mr. Lisette, for the well put together PowerPoint presentation, or the series of images very clearly annotated, and some good close-ups of those routes as well. In terms of moving forward, colleagues, when the public forum was booked in, there were under the required number of signatures to to carry it as a petition. However, subsequent to this being on the agenda, we now have the requisite number of names and addresses for this to be considered as a petition. So what I would think the proper course of action to do is for the council to move receipt of the petition, to receive the petition, and then to consider with a staff report the petition in the next triennium, which is when the next opportunity for a policy and or other committee will be. So I'm prepared to move that if that makes agreement with my colleagues. Councillor Clout, do you have a question?
Thank you. When the staff come back with a report, I mean, I'd be keen to know how many other streets in Tauranga have got this exact same issue, because it sounds like, I mean, I'd be surprised if there's not hundreds.
I'm going to move that we receive the report and that the matter is reported to the next policy or subsequent or equivalent committee in the next triennium. That's seconded by Councillor Clout. I'll open that for discussion. Is there any discussion? I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Against? Carried. I'll now close the meeting and hand it over. Yeah, I won't close the meeting. I'll adjourn it. I'll hand over to Councillor Baldock. Thank you, Mr. Lissett.
Members, we are now reconvening the